All right, welcome everyone. This is the Leadership Excellence Podcast with George Trachilis and Tom Lawless. Now, today we've got an exciting topic. It's called burnout. All right. Our talk is about 5 powerful ways to beat burnout with the Harada Method. Now, most of you haven't heard of the Harada Method, but obviously you're going to learn about it as we go through our podcast because we love it. Now, you see the headlines today about, constantly leaders are stretched thin, people are exhausted, teams are disengaged. But what's interesting is that burnout isn't just about long hours. It's usually about misalignment, a lack of autonomy, and losing your sense of direction. So today we'll explore how the Harada method and the tools, a self-leadership system, which was used by Shohei Ohtani in his youth and used by top global companies today, help prevent burnout through 5 simple proven strategies. So let's jump in. The 5 powerful ways to beat burnout with the Harada method. Way number 1 is align goals with personal purpose. So, why burnout happens is people burn out when they spend too much time chasing goals that are someone else's idea of success. So, Tom, the first one is huge. The Harada method teaches that burnout often gives or often begins with people who work on goals they don't choose or goals that simply don't matter to them. If your work doesn't connect with your personal purpose, every task feels heavier than it should. But when your goals align with purpose, motivation shifts from external to internal. You're not being pushed, you're being pulled forward by your own goal. And internal motivation is emotionally energizing and not draining. This past week, I finished watching the documentary on Ozzy Osbourne before he passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Ozzy Osbourne was in a really bad state because of a operation he was going through. He botched up operation for 7 years later. He was just like in bed, feeling a lot of pain, and then he goes and he does some music. And Sharon says after he finishes creating a song or doing a concert, he's energized from not being able to walk when he gets there. He does his concert and he's walking off stage. That kind of energy is what I'm talking about.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Didn't he do a concert like 2 weeks before he passed away?
I think it
Something like that?
was. It was like
Yeah,
a
something like
week or
that.
something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It was like
crazy.
the last farewell, and it was his last farewell.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
So that energy, that's the energy, man. And we should all get it. And Sharon was surprised. I can't believe it. He's in all this pain, yet he's doing this work, and and all of a sudden his passion comes out. He's he's healthier. He's so this is it.
Yeah,
This is what we're doing.
absolutely. George, I've coached a lot of senior leaders who were exhausted, not because of their job, not because it was too big or anything, but because the job was going in a direction that wasn't theirs, right? It was when someone reconnects with the meaningful purpose, it's like plugging in power to the source, right? It's an alignment that brings clarity, direction, and resilience. And suddenly work does feel lighter. And I do believe that when you do something like the Harada method and you have clear goals down to the daily tasks on how you're going to achieve them, I think that it keeps you focused, right? Instead of going all out. We're in such a busy environment today. We make it busy. I look at some people and I'm envious because like they're so disciplined on they won't look at emails throughout the day. They
Mhm.
have one or two times a day that they look at emails. They're not interrupted. Their day isn't chaotic, and they live a pretty good life because of that.
I agree, Tom. The work will feel lighter. So number two out of the five powerful ways to beat burnout with the Harada method is build self-reliance and reduce pressure. So you building self-reliance will reduce the pressure. So people burn out when they feel controlled, micromanaged, unable to shape their own work or their own future. One of the hidden things, Tom, is feeling powerless. Would you agree?
I agree. Uh, when people don't control their workflow, they fall into what I call a forced effort, and the forced effort is exhausting. The RADA method builds self-reliance, gives individuals the structure and the confidence to make independent decisions, and autonomy is one of the strongest known protectors against burnout.
Yeah, well said. When people start managing themselves rather than being managed, everything changes. So I had a saying, which is you control the company or the company controls you. This is
Yeah,
exactly the same thing. Stress will go down when you start controlling the company. You start controlling your surroundings. Creativity goes up and leaders stop firefighting because their teams become self-directed. All right, now
very good.
we're on number three out of the five powerful ways. Three is strengthen your four aspects of life. And I have to tell you, I'm still struggling at this. Balance is not for me, it seems. Okay, so
Yeah,
why burnout happens? Burnout builds silently when one life dimension collapses. This is what Harada says. You have spirit, you have skill, you have your physical health, or your daily life. All right, so Harada talks about these four aspects, and burnout isn't always a work problem. Sometimes it's an issue of spiritual fatigue, no meaning, no joy. Sometimes it's skill fatigue, feeling unprepared. Sometimes it's physical, sleep, exercise, health. It seems like it's coming at you from so many ways, and sometimes it's just daily life. It's chaotic, and the chaos spills into everything else that you do. One of these four pillars weakens, then everything starts collapsing and burnout sneaks in.
yeah, I agree. And most leaders try to push through it, which only accelerates the collapse. Balance is strength, balance is resilience. When you strengthen all of the aspects, all four of the aspects, you're not just preventing burnout, you're creating the capacity to thrive.
Right. Okay, that brings us to four. What's four, Tom?
Use the routine check sheet to prevent overload. Um, Burnout often emerges from unstructured overload, too many tasks, no prioritization, and constant mental clutter. I have to tell you, one thing I keep every day is a check sheet. Every day, I look down my check sheet. It's basically my leader standard work, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Most burnout isn't emotional, it's organizational. People carry too many open loops in their minds, no system, no visibility, no filters. That cognitive overload becomes exhaustion. The Harada routine check sheet brings routine into your life. It helps people to decide what really matters, and it eliminates unnecessary tasks.
Right on. So exactly right. So when you think of this, it's a routine check sheet. You're supposed to do it every day, but there's also something else, which is called like things that must happen. And one of the things that must happen is our podcast, as an example.
Yeah,
So Harada teaches to work backwards from the future. So we have routines we can do, but if we have a milestone, think of that milestone and get that out of the way sooner than later. So that's one thing you can build into your routines is what things must happen today and do that first. That could be a routine and it could vary all the time. So your routine is not necessarily the same thing. It's like the same way. Okay. So number five, is ignite passion through your open window 64 chart. We call it OW64. And we have a website called ow64.com to help executives find out how to organize themselves and others. So burnout happens because people feel stuck, stagnant, or unable to see progress toward a meaningful future. So I would add in here, they're also not celebrated. They're not getting that energy called I have a win. You
Yeah.
need that. You need that. So the OW64 chart is famous because of Shohei Ohtani, and he used it as a teenager to design his path of the future. I think he still does, but there's no report out there that says that. And this is why it prevents burnout. It connects you with your passion in life. It breaks big goals into small, manageable goals. There happen to be 64 on a chart. And that creates movement and that creates momentum. And burnout hates momentum.
Yes, it does. Clarity is energizing. When people get stuck, burnout grows. When they see a path, burnout fades. The open window 64 reminds you who you're becoming, not just what you're doing. It sparks energy and hope.
Yeah, so much agree with that. I wish everybody would do this. So, burnout isn't a sign of weakness. I've been burnt out many times. I don't know about you, Tom.
Oh,
It's a sign that the system around you needs redesigning. And of course, there's methods to do that. Tom, what do you think?
I, I absolutely agree. And it's practical, it's simple, and it's human. Hey, if you want performance without exhaustion, these these five strategies are a great place to start.
Yeah, agreed. All right. So people don't know where to start usually. So as a CEO, download an app. It's free. It's called Harada, or it's called OW64. I think I'm developing this new app for CEOs. So we called this an Ignite 17 challenge. Go ahead and do the challenge. It'll help you set your life goal and then start aligning yourself as you learn how to do it. You get all the tools and it's all free. All right. As far as burnout, apply even one of these and you'll feel the difference. Apply all five and you'll transform your ability to lead yourself and others. And until next time, this is Leadership Excellence Podcast with George Strachilis and Tom Lawless. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, George.